I don't endorse anybody in primary elections. I've made that a policy many years ago. I tell people that my job is to build an organization that we can all move on to a win in general election. And if I pick a candidate that some of the other people don't like, then it makes it difficult for me to do my job of unifying our party in the general election.
Talk to us first about Senator Cruz, because this is his home state. He ought to have the home advantage here.
The senator speaks very well, and he has a strong following. Having said that, I think some people are a little concerned that his inability maybe, or maybe, I don't know whether you call it inability or what, but his interpersonal relationships seem to be lacking for some people. You know, if you are serving as a U.S. senator or a U.S. congressman, it's very important to be able to get along with people. And I know that he has won a lot of support because of the fact that they like it, because he doesn't get along with a lot of the sitting senators in the U.S. Senate. But if you're going to be president, you have to be able to get along with people, and you have to be able to sit down and talk to them. You may disagree. Maybe you can't get everything you want at one sitting, but you keep working at it until you get the major part of what you want done. And sometimes you have to take that and then move on to the next level.
You've been in charge here for more than 50 years. I'm wondering if you feel like you've seen anything like this race before in your time.
This is really an unconventional year for presidential politics, not only in Texas, but in the U.S. as well, mainly because of Mr. Trump and because of the overall sentiment in the country. People are very frustrated, they're very angry.
Do you think that Donald Trump is an outlet for that anger, or do you think that he is encouraging it?
Well, I think he is very appealing to the people that are especially upset and angry, and they're angry with anybody that holds office. They feel that Republicans and Democrats in Congress and the U.S. Senate haven't been able to get anything done, and they blame almost anybody that's in office. And I think Mr. Trump really exemplifies kind of what their feelings are, and that's one of the reasons that I believe he's been so successful.
I mean, in a way, you could say that the anger started with the Tea Party, a good 6-7 years ago, and when they chose the Rand Pauls and those guys to go to Washington, the idea was to break up Washington as it was, to stop things being done. Do you think, part of the problem is that they sent in these people to Washington to stop legislation happening?
Well, I tell people all the time that the Tea Party movement is not new. And I tell my Tea Party friends that I was one of the first Tea Party people in Montgomery County. And they look at me with suspicion. And I follow that up by saying, in those days they called us Goldwaterites. Barry Goldwater was a candidate for president against Lyndon Johnson. And he represented basically the same philosophy that we're talking about now.
And he was a disaster.
And before that, it was what we call the John Birch Society. So this movement is not new. It's under a different name, but the same movement has been around for a good while.
Does it seem to you that the party has a struggle on its hands now? I mean, the two front runners, Cruz and Trump, one of them is trying to kind of virtually, break up the party from the outside, and the other is despised by the party and despises it. I'm wondering what the GOP does with these candidates.
Well, of course, that's what the Democrats are hoping for. and they're pleased, you know, to see the divisions right now amongst Republicans. But once we have picked our nominee, I think the vast majority of Republicans will rally around that nominee, because we know that our country, the way we want it to be, will not exist if we have another 4 or 8 years of Democrat rule. So I think we need a person that's a unifier. We don't need a divider.
Do you think that the party ignored that anger that you're talking about? I mean, you're right, the candidates have got to relate and be relevant to the issues that the people are saying that they feel angry about. Do you think that in the past the GOP has ignored either those people or those concerns?
Well, I think the voters feel that that's true, and that's what I said. It's not popular to be in office right now, because a lot of people feel like they've been let down, so to speak, by the office holders. And but I have people come in here almost daily. They're very upset, they're very angry, and having been a physician for 45 years, one of the things you have to learn as a doctor, you have to be a good listener. And so that's played well for me, because I listen to people, and after you listen, you know, they'll tend to calm down a little bit, and I try to explain to them that for us to move our values forward as a Republican Party, we need to have a governing majority in our government. Then we can accomplish a lot of the things that people want done that we haven't been able to get done because of the lack of the governing majority of the Republican Party.